I honestly think an episode that I saw last night of Fairy Tail helped to make this episode slightly more enjoyable than I normally would have felt had I just watched this, without the pre-watching of that episode. Because this episode of One Piece, it was progressive in a sense as far as with the Tontattas and their plot, and y'all know how I feel about the Tontattas, but bias aside, it did progress to a certain degree, and yeah, let's go. So the beginning of this episode, which by the way, the recap is getting longer and longer. I think the recap this time was 6:15, so yeah, we're getting longer and longer with that fucking recap, but it started off and it was actually pretty kick-ass. You got for like 5 minutes straight, Zoro versus Pica, Zoro going in, and I'm like, fuck yeah, Zoro for the win. So that was cool stuff in the beginning, and then it focused the entirety of the remainder of the episode on the Tontattas and their plot to take out Sugar and whatnot. And typical Toei, One Piece anime stuff at this point. I'm looking at the Berry for a minute or two and kind of just focusing in on their plot. I actually was a little bit entertained by Sugar in this episode. It was like she was showcasing, I'm not weak. You ain't gonna fuck around with me, little Tontattas. And you get to see definitely that everyone knows how stupid the Tontattas are. I mean, they're fucking around with them. Another scene that I felt like, oh my gosh, why is this taking so long, is the bodyguards downstairs with all the devil fruits or whatever, or the artificial devil fruits with the Tontattas. Seemingly artificial devil fruits anyway. That was kind of dragged out, although it does bring up the thought of like, holy shit, these are actually all different devil fruits. Are they all for different powers, or is there another step that they have to take? If you notice, they weren't finished, and that's why the guy, got pissed off or whatever. But that was definitely something very interesting. You're seeing all those devil fruits. Like, anybody that just goes down there is like, they could have a fucking field day with all these powers they could get. And I'm just like, I can understand why somebody like Kaido would want to take Doflamingo's head if he can't get his hands on this anymore, because look at all these devil fruits. And then we got the progression that the Tontattas, they set their plan in motion, but it didn't go through, and Sugar basically, foiled their plan, so to speak, by throwing out the grape and then turning a fuckload of them into toys. So even though they failed, ultimately we progressed with the Tontatta BS, and I'm glad that at the very least we can get it out the way and not have to worry about it anymore. I was actually like, holy shit, Sugar actually going in. As much as, it is a little girl, or well, seemingly, she looks like a little girl, but she's been around for a while, obviously, but it was like she's actually going in and, not giving a fuck and saying, don't underestimate me just because I look like this. And Trebol's voice actor, oh my god, he sounds straight up like the dude is mental or something, because when he was just there flipping out with Robin, which, by the way, Robin, you put her in anything. You could put her in a fucking steel suit of armor and she's still looking good. But I was just like, god damn, how strong is this dude? He's lifting a fucking ship with basically his mucus. So yeah, a little bit more of Trebol, and his voice just kind of trippy as hell. But ultimately, this episode, it was alright. It was kind of like average, to be honest with you. We got some progression with the Sugar stuff, but the near entirety of it was focused on the Tontattas and their plan to attack and it being foiled. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the 5 to a 5.5 for this episode. It wasn't a bad episode per se, because we did get some progression, although it was very slow and focusing on something that I think majority of us don't want to see, and that's the Tontattas. Although, to be fair, it was slightly interesting seeing the devil fruits, the multiple ones that are artificial, as well as Sugar, showcasing that you ain't gonna fuck around with her just because she's little. So yeah, brief review. Episode was average overall. I'm gonna give it like 5, 5.5. Let me know what you thought of it though. What do you think about Sugar showing off? Were you just like disgruntled seeing the Tontattas? Again, I don't give a fuck to see them. I was a little bit entertained though by the Sugar stuff, I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was kind of interesting. And the whole devil fruit stuff. And again, I think that Fairy Tail episode last night was so bad that it softened the blow for something like this, where it's like, I hate the Tontattas, but it still could have been way worse. Like, we could have just been looking at two lolies eat ice cream for 20 minutes. And by the way, anybody that watches it on Crunchyroll, were you guys shocked that they actually have the previews in at the end of the episode? That was something that caught my eye. I'm like, holy shit, I've been watching One Piece weekly for like, I think, 4 years now or so? And finally, we have the next episode preview at the end. About time. Because the site I used to watch it on before, One Piece Official, they didn't have it either. But yeah, that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Hopefully, Usopp mans up and grows some balls and stops hiding in the next episode, because he was, on some coward shit this episode. Just saying.